Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am honored to be able to share with you poetry in honor of community poetry. That normally what used to be half-price books. A select few poems that are appearing in the cc&d September-December 2022 issue collection book, recently released, titled Unable to Escape It. Unable to Escape It. I think I'm going to share with you some women's themed poetry in this reading. So the first poem I'm going to share with you is not only in this book, but it's also in the Cyberwit book. I have to find my spot for it. Shattering the Glass Ceiling. Shattering the Glass Ceiling and Unable to Escape It. cc&d magazine from Scarce Publications and Cyberwit Press. This was released during Women's History Month this past year. And so, the first poem I want to share with you is titled Oriental. It's cool because in this book, in both books, I'm trying to show you a larger one, it also exists in Chinese. It's so hard to be able to show it to you, you can't really see it, I'm positive, but you can be able to see it online, or if you buy a copy of the book, you'll be able to get it as well. So this first poem is titled Oriental. Years ago, Chinese women bound their feet with cloths, forcing them to retain the foot of a child. The smaller the foot, the higher the class, the more helpless the woman, the more she needed a husband to care for her. It was normal for the daughter to cry and cry at the thought of hurting her feet so, of being unable to walk, of crippling herself. But her mother knew better. The girl would never find a suitable husband if her feet were like those of a servant, at least a working servant. Handcuffs are like swashes of cheesecloth, slowly wrapping layer upon layer upon layer. The tears falling land in her lap into a pattern as the daughter sobs and rocks back and forth. That was Oriental. That appears not only in Shattering the Glass Ceiling, but also the cc&d issue collection book, Unable to Escape It. Unable to Escape It. And this one also appears in both of these books, but there isn't a translation, so I won't bother showing it to you. This is a poem, the first one in the book, I think, in Shattering the Glass Ceiling. And it is titled No One Reports for Women. I would like to start this like a news reporter saying, Dateline, your town here, but news about women's issues is non-existent, which makes women wonder if concerns for women are non-existent too. Recently I heard reports from multiple women who had been on birth control for 99% of their fertile lives. They contracted the most recent variant of COVID-19, and yes, they got vaccines and booster shots, making COVID-19 like getting a minor cold. But these women noticed a week after recovery, 2 weeks before their period should arrive, that they started spotting, which didn't stop. So after 10 days, they asked around and found that other women were having this trouble with reproductive health too, and no one had researched how to solve it. But really, think about it. Who would have the time to research something when they worked like mad just to come up with a vaccine on such short notice? No one had questioned men's fertility after COVID-19 and enough immunization to protect you from this. But maybe the question should be this. After women can now control their reproductive rights, does that mean that after following their government's edicts to protect themselves and inject themselves, they'll still get sick, but, added bonus, they'll bleed daily for it? Which is because this is exactly the type of problem women don't want to talk about in public. And trust me, this shouldn't be a problem any woman should ever have to deal with. When women sit alone in their corners with no support for their very personal problems, they don't know that other women go through this too. That little level of sympathy may assuage their feelings, but it may amount to only a fleeting gesture to know they're not alone. For the more you realize how common this may be, the more any rational woman may wonder why something isn't being done to solve what is becoming a real, bloody problem. When many women's solutions is to search the internet, they may start to panic when they read reports of birth control may increase blood clots, and COVID-19 may exacerbate that risk further. But, surprise, surprise, more research needs to be done to solve anything for women, and this still doesn't solve the daily bleeding that men are stating is harmless. Fine, but men aren't the ones bleeding every day. So this is beginning to sound more like more of the same. Women think we are in pain and nothing is being done. There may be theories that estrogen and progesterone may play a role in the novel coronavirus. May this explain the COVID-19 reaction differences between feminine me and my masculine husband? But taking estrogen daily, could that affect the vaccine or the virus? Well, it doesn't matter if one doctor after another hears a stack of anecdotal evidence from their patients, because stories aren't proof, and women are all still stuck, bleeding, with no way to solve their medical problems. And for the men out there that don't want to think about women bleeding, even though men have no problem with the same women bearing and raising their children, which women have to bleed monthly to make happen, similar stories arise with young women possibly wanting to have children one day, missing their period for 4 months after getting COVID-19, with their regular periods resuming. Though when one woman talked to her doctor about it, they assumed it was from COVID-19. But to quote the patient, none seemed too concerned about it. So, welcome to another case of an unexpected medical problem for women that no one can explain. I jokingly said that I'd like to start this story with Dateline Your Town here, but maybe I should have said all along, Dateline Your Neighborhood, or Dateline Your Street, or Dateline Your Home, because after only now hearing the now upswelling cries from women who follow the rules to do what's best for them, women only suffer for it with no explanation, and, of course, can't share their problems in an effort to solve them. If women could tell their stories, it may only be a stepping stone. But if women did tell their stories, you may only then realize how serious the problems women go through can really be. Wow, that was a breather, wasn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you appreciated those. They are the only ones that were specifically related to the book Shattering the Glass Ceiling. These are a couple more. I got a couple more poems for you from this book that I'm going to share. This first one is titled Out to the Horizon. Driftwood disintegrated out with the tide, like flotsam wreckage of what we survived. Jetsam drifts to shore while we all still so fall in love with the sea, and our essence drifts out toward the horizon until I find myself lost, wondering where on earth that damn land is. I know, we're 70% water. I can feel like a fish, a dolphin, or even a bird like an Arctic penguin, porpoising our way through the deepest depths, for water is our essence. Too many times that ocean called out to me, and I dove in, head first, swimming out too far, until violent waves came crashing into me, capsizing me deep into the sea, forcing down my throat an ocean of traumas, past, present, future, until I suddenly wonder if it matters if it rains treading water. A cyclone, hurricane, typhoon swells inside me until water overwhelms me. I start randomly swimming, look for land, pick a direction, to try to find that edge. They say that land is vast, but this water seems endless. So I start to panic, And this is when I realized that the edge is right there. Is it dirt? Is it sand? When I finally get there, I see the wrinkles in your cupped hands, holding that water, holding that world. And now it all suddenly comes flooding back. You saved me again, like I saved you before. Our souls intertwined. We've lived for eons, nourishing each other, from climbing the Alps to following Darwin. Arbeit macht frei, wrought iron gates rattle in our hands. We shiver together in the midnight South Pole winds, make music before the 1 a.m. Arctic aurora borealis. So what if armed Russian guards watched us? Don't cry for me. Throughout the hemispheres, throughout history, we step over those gold bars to emperor rooms. For as I said, we've lived for eons, nourishing each other. And now it's your turn to hold that water. Let me swim to your hands until I climb out. Jump onto your earth. Stand. You can then turn your hands, spill that water, then finally embrace me. That was a fun one to read. And now we're after that one, that page changer. Now I'm going to do one more in this book for you. They're not in the same theme, trust me. I think this was after watching a movie that I came up with this one. It's called Jar for My Beating Heart. If I ever lost you, if you ever left me, I think I'd tear my heart out. I think I'd tear my heart out so I could put it in a glass jar and leave it on a shelf. Wait, no. It'd be ceramic. If I put my heart away like luggage, that jar would have to be ceramic. I wouldn't want to see that heart. So, ceramic it is. Because my once beating heart is only baggage on a shelf. But really, I think I'd tear out my heart and put it away. Because I see people every day and they all live like they have no heart. And after you're gone, I wouldn't hear my own heart beating anymore. So, after you're gone, what would I need my heart for anyway? Heavy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you different themed things, and that is why I'm going to end it on a happier note. And I think it's appropriate oftentimes when people are looking at things on, say, YouTube in this situation versus being at the poetry open mic where we could actually see each other. This mic, this reading space isn't available anymore. So we're using screens, whether it's in Zoom meetings or if you're reading it on your phone or if you're on your laptop, your tablet, your desktop, anything. You're looking at things on screens. So this is a fun one to close off with. It's on another spot in the book, and it's not only in the book Unable to Escape It, the cc&d issue collection book that has just been released from the August to December, oh no, not August, September to December 2022 issues, but also the Twitterverse periodic table poetry book. Haha. There are all these books. What are we talking about? But this is book talking time. And this poem, which is in them both, and you can see the images. That's iridium platinum. But you see these images are huge on here, and it's a larger typeface neodymium. There's huge images with these. Maybe I'll try to show it to you on a screen as well. We'll see if we can pull it off. But this is indium trying to get through. We live on smartphones and watch movies, share pics and texts and swipe on our little screens. When I finally realized that you are just on the other side, of my screen, I panic. I move my fingers, failing to get through to you. Why give me what I need if we're meant to be apart? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, see if I can find it on a screen for you. Can I share it? Probably not as well as if you went and found it on a screen yourself, but, ladies and gentlemen, bots and goyles, you can see this in either one of these books, Twitterverse Periodic Table Poetry, or the cc&d September December 2022 issue anthology that is titled Unable to Escape It. And I hope you've enjoyed this reading, you guys, and I think if I can pull it off in this 1 to 3 p.m. time zone, which is in honor of the Community Poetry Open Mic and Tom Woodruff in his always usual bright yellow, which is why I'm that way for you guys, maybe I'll come in with one more during this time. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay vaccinated if you can, stay creative, and thank you so very much, and I look forward to talking to each and every one of you very, very soon. Each and every one of you. Thank you.